great. We're in this room where we wanted to keep it small, and outside we have thousands and thousands of people. Have you seen what's going on out there? But I'm thrilled to be back with the workers, UAW members, and proud patriots of the great state of Michigan. Great state, great people. Here in Michigan and across the country tonight, there are countless thousands of auto workers and skilled tradesmen worried about the future and what the future holds for themselves and for their incredible families. I want to begin this evening by saluting these truly great Americans who do not get the credit they deserve. You don't get the credit they deserve. Now they want to go all electric and put you all out of business. You know that, right? To the welders, assembly line workers, machine operators, forklift drivers, pipe fitters, tool and die makers, mechanics, electricians, technicians, and journeymen, we love being with you, and we love being with you right in your environment. You built this country, you love this country, and you are the ones that make our country run. You know that, right? Before I stepped into the political arena 7 years ago, I spent my whole life working alongside of Americans just like you. Spent a lot of time with you.
And not paying them.
I spent a lot of time.
And not paying them.
People just like you. Now,
not a lot of time not paying you.
To fight for you. I've risked it all to defend working class from the corrupt political class that has spent decades sucking the life, wealth.
It's funny to be like, oh, dude, we're going to do EV cars and it's going to ruin your jobs. And it's like, well, who the fuck's going to make the EV cars, idiot? Like, what do you mean? Someone's going to make the EV cars, stupid, and the batteries too.
Sucking out of our country. I want a future that protects American labor, not foreign labor. A future that puts
this is so funny because this literally moving in the direction of EV just as the rest of the world will make us competitive with the rest of the world so that we do not lose out to the rest of the world. It's once again the exact opposite.
Squanders it all to build up foreign countries that hate us. And you know where they are? They're located all over the world, but they're mostly on the other side of the world. We don't want that. Under crooked Joe Biden, you have none of this. You have none of the things we want. Instead of economic nationalism, you have ultra left-wing globalism. They hate our country. And the workers of America are getting, to put it very nicely,
that's new. This is new.
Screwed. Yesterday, Joe Biden came to Michigan to pose for photos at the picket line. But it's his policies that send Michigan auto workers to the unemployment line. He only came after I announced that I would be here. You know, he announced quite a bit later. Spoke for a few seconds. Did you notice he spoke for what, a few seconds? And he had absolutely no idea what he was saying. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what we were saying. Where am I? He's saying, where am I? Oh, you're in Michigan. Oh, that's great.
I'm gonna get more mad.
Michigan?
I fear I'm gonna get more mad than I ever have.
Don't they grow wheat? No, that's Iowa and other places. Biden's cruel and ridiculous electric.
Look at all these unionized workers booing a president attending a picket line.
Vehicle mandates that will spell the death of the U.S. auto industry. You know, it doesn't matter. I watch it. You're negotiating a contract. You're all on picket lines and everything. But it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you get, because in 2 years, you're all going to be out of business. You're not getting anything. What they're doing to the auto industry in Michigan and throughout the country is absolutely horrible and ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands of American jobs, your jobs, will be gone forever because crooked Joe Biden is selling out. But I don't think it's him. I don't think he actually knows what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's not his fault. Let's not blame him. But he's surrounded with radical left Marxists and crazy people, fascists, bad people. He's selling you out to China. He's selling you out to the environmental extremists on the radical left. People have no idea how bad this is going to be also for the environment. You know, those batteries, when they get rid of them and lots of bad things happen, and when they're digging it out of the ground to make those batteries, it's going to be very bad for the environment. You can be loyal to American labor, or you can be loyal to the environmental lunatics, but you can't really be loyal to both. It's one or the other, and they understand that. The Democrat Party has no idea what they're doing right now. They have no idea what to do. Crooked Joe is siding with the left-wing crazies who will destroy automobile manufacturing and will destroy our country itself. They're destroying our country. You look at that at the border. We had the safest border in history. Now you look at what's happening. It's just a horror show. I side with the auto workers of America and with those who want to make America great again, and I always will. And I don't get one thing. I don't get why Ford and GM, why these car makers aren't fighting to make cars that are going to sell, to make cars that are going to be able to go on long distances. They immediately give up. I see it with the oil companies, too. They're promoting windmills, which don't work, by the way, but they don't work. They want windmills all over the place. It's like they're told what to do, and that's what they go against their industry. They're either stupid or they're gutless. But why do they concede so fast? This plant, we just walked through this plant, and the electric vehicles are going to put them out of business. They don't need any of this. The things that you make in Michigan, they don't need any of it. Why is it that these big, powerful car companies with guys that are making $35 million a year immediately quit? They say, you want electric vehicles, we'll give it to you, when the damn things don't go far enough and they're too expensive. And I'm not in that business, but I know a lot about it. They don't go far enough, and they're too expensive. A vote for Crooked Joe means the future of the auto industry will be made in China. That's what's going to be. That's where they're made.
Yeah, idiot. If we don't make them, they will be made in China. So he's not wrong. It's just that he's entirely wrong when he says, like, oh,
America,
yeah,
where it should
the EVs are going to be made in China, and we're not going to allow it.
It will be fueled by American energy. It will be sourced by American suppliers. It will be sculpted from American iron, aluminum, and steel, and it will be built by highly skilled American hands and high-wage American labor. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And we'll do it first day in office. First day in office. It'll be signed out first day in office. What they're doing to our country is horrible. What they're doing to the auto workers of this country just doesn't make sense. I saved American auto manufacturing. You know that in my first term, and I'll save it again. We did great. We did everything to keep those jobs going. We'll save it again in our second term. Unfortunately, that's what we had to do because things happened during the election that you know about, happened right here in this state also. And we will make it bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. That's what we're going to do. But we want to talk about it, but we talk and we keep talking, but we don't want to talk too much. But before we do talk about the current UAW strike that we've been hearing about, and I see people really with mixed emotions because you're striking for wages, but you know your job's only going to be here for 2 years or 3 years if you're lucky. How will we rescue the auto manufacturing in the United States? Let's remember, you got to remember how we got here. For decades and decades, and I've been talking about this subject for 12 years, long before I ever thought of becoming a politician. How good was that? That's a lot of fun. I could have had the easiest, nicest life, L. I would have had the nicest, softest life instead I have to beat these lunatics up all day long. Every day. Every day, lunatics. I never heard of the word indictment. Now I get indicted like every 3 days. He spoke badly about the election. He must be indicted. He said something bad about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the most corrupt president and most incompetent president we've ever had. Oh, no. No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get indicted again for saying that. For decades, you've watched rotten and crooked politicians like Biden treat American jobs as disposable and American workers as expendable. They sat back and got rich by taking bribes to let other countries rape.
Of course, it's a Trump rally, chat. This is like completely controlled.
Joe Biden claims to be the most pro-union.
I don't know why you would think that this is going to be any different than that. I mean, of course, it's a Trump rally.
Think of it. His entire career, just think of it. His entire career has been an act of economic treason and union destruction. He's destroyed unions, shipping millions of American jobs overseas while personally taking money from foreign nations hand over fist.
And for the record, none of these people are fucking UAW picketers, okay?
China.
Let's be real.
Crooked Joe backed NAFTA. He backed China's entry into the World Trade Organization. He backed the horrendous Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have destroyed the American auto industry.
Yeah, I quote tweeted the AFL-CIO, which wrote extensively on Trump's awful record.
You were gone. And that was a done deal. And in fact, during the debate, I got beautiful Hillary Clinton. I don't call her crooked because I only use that name for Biden now. So I call her beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful Hillary Clinton.
Wait, what the fuck?
To change her position on TPP, they were trying to pull a fast one on you, so she actually changed her position during the campaign, but she would have changed it back had that been a different result. But thank goodness it wasn't, because we made things and did things that nobody believed possible. Nobody believed possible. Biden also backed a gentleman named Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him? And his atrocious Korean trade deal.
Dude, people in Michigan booing Barack Obama is so funny. I mean, it's like
sucking globalist attack on U.S. auto workers, and you've been attacked for a long time. Those attacks all stopped for 4 years with us, and they were getting so strong, and you were getting so strong, and they were building plants here again. Now the plants are going back to Mexico, and they're going back to China, and he's coming back.
Much is to be made about this entire fucking sham, this mockery that I have geared you to understand has been a sham and mockery for the past week or so. But there is something that deeply offends me to my core, and that is a group of fucking charlatans screeching and clapping like a bunch of horny seals in that room. When I hear Donald Trump's idiotic fucking sentiment get such a warm, raucous response, I die. I die a little bit inside.
Habit hasn't worked because, look, you've lost 38% of your industry over the period of 25 years. Much of it's gone to Mexico. We don't talk about Mexico.
I die.
It's gone to Mexico. They make plants.
Ron DeSantis.
Mine, a great supporter, but a great gentleman who builds plants. That's what he builds, auto plants. He said to me the other day, you got to see the plants we're building in Mexico. I said, well, how do they compare to the U.S.? He said, not even a contest. And I said, isn't that a shame? You remember what I did? I said, you don't give us protection at our border. I'm going to charge you a tariff of 25%. We want 28,000 soldiers on our border, and we had the safest border.
Wait, what? He just
in the history of our country.
Wait,
now
what? He just talked about a fucking a piece of shit capital owner who's moving a factory to Mexico and realized that people are not going to like it and twisted it to immigration.
Joe Biden voted on that. He gave you that. Nearly 250,000
Why are you talking to the factory owner and not killing him if you're such a supporter of the working class, you fucking piece of shit? Look at this guy. Oh, yeah, I was just talking to my buddy who's like building a factory in Mexico.
Factories. 60,000 factories closed and went overseas. Can you imagine? 60,000? No, who would think that? When I first saw that number, I said, oh, somebody made a typographical error. Maybe it was 600 factories. Could have been 6,000, but that sounded too high. 60,000. And the good news is, if the number was wrong, the fake news will be checking it out. So I have to say, I have to give you the right numbers. Otherwise, the fake news is out there. Crooked Joe and his payday with the Biden family, they raked in millions and millions of dollars. You see what's going on. The news doesn't really report it. Very little news reports it. But it was the men and women who got, every single day, they got up and came back home with grease on their hands, and they
This
were
is
the
the
ones who
Biden
paid the
family.
price. They paid a big
Yeah,
price.
Fox is not even
The
covering
only
this
time
rally,
Joe Biden has ever gotten his hands
which is
dirty is when he's
counter-programming
taking
technically
cash
for
from
them.
foreign countries, which is quite
Look at
often.
what they're
actually.
talking about. They're talking about
It's
Philadelphia.
quite often. Based on what we're seeing, it's much more often than anyone would have thought. But can you imagine an unannounced raid on his many homes? He would have made Senator Menendez look like a baby, just like a baby. Can you imagine? You know, they gave him 3 weeks' notice. You know, they said, we're going to raid your home over documents. They gave him 3 weeks. Would 3 weeks be enough?
Damn, Trump is a
I can
fake
imagine.
friend.
I'd like to see what he cleaned out of there. Joe
Trump is
Biden
a
only
fucking
cares about
fake friend. He wished Menendez well last time around.
enriching your family. That's why I did this. That's why I did it. I'm working for you, not for me. That is for sure, and I always will. I will always have your back. I promise you that. I will always have your back. When I came into office, the auto industry was on its...
Yeah, there's something really funny about openly stating that if he gives a wrong number, fake news will correct them, and then everybody cheering that on, as in, like, the implication there is that he does actually sometimes give you fake information, and the real news actually corrects him. But obviously, to his sycophantic, psychopathic fans, that means, like, oh, sometimes you get things a little wrong, and the fake news will go crazy over it, right? That's the reason why they're clapping, even though technically what he's saying is that the real news media will check me if I'm saying something
And
wrong.
just as I promised, I withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership my very first week. Do you remember 2016 when we won Michigan? Michigan had been
Aisha
won in,
Siddiqui
like,
said the same
decades.
thing. He's voicing a
Everyone
stance against
said,
the
"Oh."
environment, nature, renewable energy,
And then
that
we
resonates with the
did
crowd,
much
hence the
better
cheers.
in
The way people
2020.
laugh
I mean,
at right-wing
we
figures
did
as if
much
those
better.
figures aren't operating with a followable
But
logic
we're going
strikes
to
me
do
as
so.
just
We're
sinister
going to
and stupid.
swamp them. We're going to swamp them. We actually did much better.
Yeah, Aisha has a beautiful way with words, much better than myself, which is exactly what I was trying to communicate to you as well yesterday. He's voicing a stance against the environment in a way that resonates with the crowd, and that's why people are cheering. The way people laugh at right-wing figures as if those figures aren't operating with a followable logic strikes me just as sinister and as stupid as those cheering here. These people might be clownish, but they will win their battles. Even the Klan discussed the benefits and advantages of literal clownery with costumes and everything in their strategic manuals.
Rose by more than $6,000 a year, which was a record, $6,000 a year during my term. A year. I ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, Mexico, Canada. That's the best trade deal ever made, they say, in our country's history. I think the deal we made with China is even better, but unfortunately with COVID, I don't even talk about that one. But we made a lot of good deals with Japan, with South Korea, with many, many countries. We took bad deals and made them good deals. They were so bad, I used to ask my people, who made these deals? Why did they do it? Who made them? They were so bad, just on their face. With the USMCA, 75% of every car under that deal must be made in North America. In other words, they have to make 75% of the car in North America. Who ever heard of that? And a massive portion must be made by high-wage labor, which means American labor, you're high wage. Back in 2008, Biden and Obama promised you that they'd renegotiate NAFTA, but in 8 years, they never lifted a finger. They never changed a thing. You know, NAFTA was so bad that when it was negotiated a long time ago, decades ago, they made typographical errors, like in numbers. And they were bad typographic. They were bad for us. Cost us. Nobody went back to change them. They were typographical errors, and we lived with it for decades with these errors. Can you imagine that? Normally, like, that happens. You do that in deals, too. And you go back the following day, say, they made a mistake. We're renegotiating this deal. I don't care if it's signed or not.
He said, honestly, he was my vote if he cites who they is at least once. Bro, you don't want to hear him cite they, okay?
Typographical errors. They made errors. Maybe they weren't so typographical. Probably the other side made them imperfect.
Because you know his ass ain't going to say the capitalists, okay?
And they never corrected them for years.
Also, he's used typographical like 11 times so far. This is a new word. I just learned a new word phenomena.
And I know how good the USMCA deal is because Canada, as you know, and Mexico.
Wouldn't a typographical error in numbers be a numerical error? Am I wrong? I don't know. I'm stupid. I might be dumber than
But in less
Trump.
than 2 years, I got that done, the USMCA and many other deals. I also renegotiated Obama's Korea trade deal to fully restore your protective tariff on foreign pickup trucks. They wanted to change it. The Democrats wanted it to expire, and so did South Korea badly. They didn't want it. And without that, you
No, I'm
wouldn't even
streaming the
have
debate,
a truck
not a watch
industry.
along.
Right now,
Straight
it's
streaming
probably
it.
the strongest part of your industry. Without
We're
that,
going
you wouldn't
fucking
have an
full-blown
industry.
YOLO mode.
So
YOLO
it's
dolo
something
mode.
I was very proud to do. It was not easy, but we got it done, and we got it done properly. Michigan jobs would have been exported, while millions and millions of foreign cars would have flooded American streets. That's what would have happened. Obama and Biden didn't care one bit, but I did, and I stopped it, and I stopped it cold. I took on communist China like no administration in history did what I've done, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other president had gotten literally 10 cents. And I also got $28 billion for our great farmers. You know that, right? Our farmers. That's why I say, you think I'm going to do badly in Iowa or Nebraska, any of Wisconsin, any of our farm areas? I say, I don't want to be too cocky. I just got very good polls from all those, from everywhere. She says, be cocky, that's okay. But who else would have done that? $28 billion. I said to the Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, I said, Sonny, how bad have they treated us? $28 billion over a period of about 5 years. I said, they're going to pay it back. And they paid it back. They paid it back. And then perhaps my greatest unsung achievement, I kept Chinese cars the hell out of America. Is that okay with you? Is that okay? UAW, is that okay? And a lot of people don't know this, but I imposed a whopping 27.5% tariff and tax on all Chinese automobiles coming into our country. And this magnificent tariff, they can't get it off because they make so much money with it. And by the way, if they took it off, you'd be out of business right away. They want it.
Bro, it's so funny. He's like addressing the UAW without the UAW
They
president.
would take over your industry totally.
Like it's just
But it
make
remains in
believe at
place
this
to
point. You know
day.
what I mean?
Not because they wanted to, but because they sort of have no choice. And it's no exaggeration to state that the Trump presidency and the deftly used and applied Trump tariffs and taxes saved the American auto industry from extinction.
He didn't just put a
time
tariff
and
on
time
Chinese
again.
automobiles. He put a tariff on a lot of Chinese goods, which then, of course, translated to higher costs to the American people.
Right
but
now.
that's different.
But crooked Joe Biden is back like a wretched old vulture trying to finish off his prey. Can you believe it? I don't know. I just don't know. I see some of these things that are happening. I say, I wonder if he has any idea that this stuff is happening. Biden's job-killing EV mandate has dictated that nearly 70% of all cars sold in the United States must be
It's so
fully
funny when we talk about like Chinese goods that we're not allowing into the country, like no Huawei and no cars. It's like, okay, well, everything else is made in
people that want
China.
to take very short trips, okay? Hop in the car. Darling, let's drive down to the store and let's drive back. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. They say the happiest day when you buy an electric car is the first 10 minutes you're driving it. And then after that, panic sets in because you're worried, where the hell am I going to get a charge to keep this thing going? No. Panic. They get panicked. Despite colossal government subsidies, Ford alone is projecting to lose an astonishing $4.5 billion on electric vehicles. Why are they agreeing to this? That's what I don't understand. Why are they agreeing to it? Why does Ford and GM, why are they all agreeing to this? The cars aren't selling. They got them all over the place. You can buy them for peanuts. Why are they not fighting and saying it doesn't work? How about the trucks? The trucks go for like 1/5 of you take a Powerbilt or one of the good brands.
What?
They go for just a small amount of time compared to a diesel-fired truck. Diesel-fired. You're not even allowed to say the word diesel-fired. Oh, that's bad for the environment. No, bad for the environment is having trucks all over the place that don't go. But on the electric vehicles this year, to comply with the mandate is 60,000 loss. They're going to lose $60,000 for every car produced. That sounds like a great deal. But honestly, for UAW and for auto workers and for everybody and for the country, it's not sustainable. So they may try and do it, and I don't know, they're trying to do something for the environment. By the way, that's worse for the environment than what we're talking about. Much worse. But think of it. They're going to lose $60,000 a car. So when are they going to come to you and say, listen, we can't do this anymore? They're going to come to your head man, Sean, I've been watching him on television. He's a good man. I think he's a good man, but he's got to endorse Trump. The one thing I say about a politician. I've known politicians all my life, and then if you would have told me I was going to be a politician someday, I would have said, no way, I don't want to be a politician.
No way.
But the one thing I know is when you go out and you come out with an idea early, and then in an election and you sort of lose that idea, you always come back to that idea. So these people are into the electric thing. They may soften it up a little bit during the election. They're coming back, and they're coming back stronger than ever. It's like Ron DeSanctimonious. He tried to destroy Social Security. Now he
hates
Elon. A little bit.
Chat. People being like, why is he shitting on Elon? He hates Elon. He's like ripped into Elon before when he was president, remember? He said Elon begged me, which is right, by the way. He owned Elon. And also Elon is pro DeSantis.
Election's over. So you can't go for that. And in the case of Biden, he's coming back to electric vehicles. Now he hasn't even left yet. So we're talking about, but yeah, maybe someday soon he's going to leave because he wants to get more votes. But just remember, he's coming back. They always go back to their original thought. That's where they are. I don't know why, but that's where they are. Biden's mandate isn't a government regulation. It's a government assassination of your jobs and of your industry. The auto industry is being assassinated. And it makes no difference what you get. I don't care what you get in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks. They're going to be closing up, and they're going to be building those cars in China and other places. It's a hit job on Michigan and on Detroit, and that's not sustainable. These numbers are not sustainable. No company can afford to lose $60,000 a car. It's going to be more than that. All of these cars would be manufactured in foreign lands that you couldn't care less about. I want choice in schools and in the purchase of an automobile, an SUV or a truck. I want choice for my automobile, for my truck, for my SUV. And I also happen to want choice for schools. Do we agree with that?
Wait, if he wants choice, why is he saying EVs, like we are not going to allow EVs to happen?
Automobiles and workers, period. But I think we can say that everybody wants to see
it's so
choice
stupid. None of it makes sense.
If you want to buy an electric car, that's absolutely fine. I'm all for it. But we should not be forcing consumers to buy electric vehicles. They want to buy all trucks. They want to make all trucks electric. You know that, right? They're going to destroy, you talk about supply chain? They're going to destroy the supply chain. They're forcing the truckers to go all electric trucks. Now the trucks probably don't have the power. They only go about 300 miles, whereas a diesel fuel truck goes 2,000 miles. That's a big difference, would you say? Yeah. Also, the battery takes up so much room, there's practically no room left for what you happen to be shipping. The whole thing is crazy. They want to do it with boats, too. I was with a boating manufacturer in a great state, South Carolina, with a great governor, by the way, Henry McMaster. And we were there 2 days ago, and I asked him that question. I said, he said, yeah, they want us to go all electric. I said, how does that work for a boat? He said, the entire boat would be like one big battery, we'd have no room for anything else. I said, what happens if the boat has an accident, starts sinking? Do you get electrocuted if the boat sinks? The guy said, I've never thought of that, actually, but I think I gave him an idea, actually. Now, can you imagine the boat goes down and you're sitting on top of a battery? I don't feel good about that, right? In other words, you have to stop approximately for a truck 6 times for the same trip. How are they going to stop 6 times? And yet it's not stopping these lunatics in Washington. These are lunatics. These are deranged people. And I'm not saying you can't buy an electric car. If you want to buy an electric car or a hybrid or an all-gasoline car or a truck, that has to be your choice. You should have that choice. It's great, right? I could see electric cars working great for certain uses, short-term, short-distance uses. We have unlimited gasoline. Remember that. We have unlimited. China doesn't. We have unlimited gasoline. For 500 years, we have gasoline, more than any other country in the world. Can you imagine? A few years ago, we were energy independent. Now we're begging countries to give us gasoline. Can you imagine? No, can you even imagine? And we had the best, the lightest, the sweetest. We have the best stuff. Now we're getting it. We're taking tar. You know what tar is? It's like tar that they have to refine. You know where they refine it? In Houston, Texas. We take tar now from Venezuela. Venezuela was supposed to be the bad guys. Venezuela's getting rich. We're refining their tar.
Okay.
And we're not taking our beautiful.
The funny thing about oil, and the real reason why many oil and gas industry giants are already like hedging their bets against oil by purchasing renewable energy, is that it's not infinite. As a matter of fact, it's finite. And that's part of the reason why there's not an endless supply, and we're done. We're done. It's a ticking time bomb. Okay? It's very stupid to say we have like infinite oil.
And the cost of operation is also much more. He
said we got unlimited gas.
Option,
That's
though,
not true.
It's their option.
Also, unlimited gas is another step towards against any kind of sovereignty that we can have from the oil cartel. Okay? It's OPEC, baby. Well, I mean, obviously Trump doesn't fear MBS because MBS has said that he is fine with Donald Trump. He likes Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure he would be on board with Donald Trump becoming president. Trump has literally touted how he has a unlimited line of credit to Saudi Arabia that will purchase his real estate properties for whatever price he sets them as though that's like not an important thing to fucking think about when you're running for president, even though he did say that in a deposition in the New York case. But ultimately, the expectation that like Donald Trump is going to be able to control oil prices and not be on the whims of OPEC Plus is fucking silly.
They even say VP. I don't know. Does anybody see any VP in the group? I don't think so. No, we're
He said 500 years. Stop twisting his words.
You look at the thousands of people outside that couldn't get in. Why didn't you build a bigger plant? I'd like to.
My bad. He said it's
but we're
finite.
Here today
500
at Drake
years.
Enterprises, a family-owned and operated Michigan auto parts supplier that has been manufacturing in America for over 70 years, right? Drake was founded by a great man in 1952, Benny Stempel, right? Benny, we love Benny. Your father, your grandfather. An American man, he deceased, American man with a big American dream. He had a big, big, beautiful dream. Benny started with just 4 people and soon came to dominate the production of gear shift levers
big
for
American
trucks.
dream.
Today, the company produces transmission components, driveline components, engine components, and car parts for every one of the Detroit Big Three. So I won't tell them I've said bad things about them in your place, okay? I just want them to fight for what's right. It's common sense. But tonight I was honored to meet Benny's son, Lee, and Lee's children, Nate and Heather. Thank you very much. That's great. Beautiful family. Nate and Heather say their vision for this company is to prove that the American dream is still alive for their employees like it was just for their granddad, who was so wonderful. So Lee, Nate, and Heather, we're going to help.
Trump said we have infinite oil. I don't know what our refinery capabilities are like, but it's pretty funny. I guess he's an advocate for nationalizing the oil sector and no longer committing to any kind of petroleum trade.
Bad things are happening in Michigan. Your crime rate's through the roof. You got a lot of businesses moving out now. It's not even believable.
Buxom, they're saying. I would never say it.
Producing components that go into vehicles with internal combustion engines.
Dirty Gretchen, I call them.
Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats and fascists, Marxists. Now they want to make them, for whatever reason, illegal. Figure that one out. And yes, it's true. Today's radical Democrat Party wants to legalize drugs, shoplifting, and sexual mutilation of your children, but they want to allow your gas-powered Suburban, Silverados, and Ford F-150s to die. They can die. Under a Trump administration, gasoline engines will be allowed. And sex changes for children will be banned. Is that okay? I think we have it. Can you believe it?
Yeah, he's like much more appealing and funny when he's not in front of a crowd of like psychotic fucking thirsty monsters who are just chirping and screeching and cackling like a bunch of hyenas.
Say it, because that's what they're doing.
Like when I see the impact that his words have on the ground, all of a sudden I am Once again, reminded that this is a legitimate problem, and this man is running for president, and he's going to fuck up the country again.
Sense. It's not conservative. It's not. It's common sense. We want to have a border. We want to have good voting. We want to have same-day voting with all paper ballots, and we want to have a thing called voter ID. Why do the Democrats not want voter ID? Because they want to cheat. We want to have voter ID. But if crooked Joe Biden gets his way, Drake employees and countless other auto workers and suppliers will really be decimated. I don't know. I hate to tell you what's going to happen, but you know what's going to happen. We're going to stop it. By most estimates, under Biden's electric vehicle mandate, 40% of all U.S. auto jobs will disappear. Think of this, in 1 or 2 years. Think 1 or 2 years. That's what you have to be talking about, not you're going to get X dollars an hour. It doesn't matter what the hell you're getting an hour. Do me a favor. Just get your union guys, your leaders, to endorse me. Okay? And I'll take care of the rest.
Get the fuck out of here.
Because in looking over the statistics now, they're saying, but the real number will be 100%. Because under Biden's mandate, the entire car industry will be packed up and shipped to China, which controls over 80% of the supply chain for electric vehicle batteries. They control the whole thing. So they think close to 100% of the business will be gone. Every time Joe Biden and the UAW's political leadership talk about a fair transition to all electric cars,
UAW's political leadership is in the wrong.
Labor will be under siege. It's not going to work for you. It can't work. And I learned a lot today with this great family. I tell you, they said, you know, it just won't work. They don't need anything that you have right here in Michigan.
The promo code is crack
they have beautiful
for Michael
product.
Pillow, chat.
There's no such thing as a fair transition to the end of your way of life. You're going to lose your beautiful way of life. For auto workers, Biden's forced transition is a transition to hell. It's a transition to hell.
Oh, my God.
It's a transition to unemployment and to inflation without end. The inflation that you have now, we didn't have inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. You know that because you went 4 years like you've never had in your history, in the history of Michigan. To the striking workers, I support you in your goal of fair wages and greater stability, and I truly hope you...
I'm not kidding. I do legitimately believe he will lose Michigan by a wider margin than he did last time because of not just even the symbolic actions that he's engaging in
Where'd
here.
you get it? Just doesn't make it.
So that is the only thing that makes me feel kind of confident and happy about this entire process. I fucking despise him.
And you've seen it happen before. You've seen what happened where massive percentages of your industry went to other countries like Mexico, like China, like South Korea, like Japan. In other words, your current negotiations don't mean as much as you think. I mean, I watch you out there with the pickets, but I don't think you're picketing for the right thing. But if they endorse me, your leadership,
What?
you can tell them I said it, although I have a feeling they may be watching tonight.
What?
Because, you know, when Biden came here yesterday, they only had 11 people. I'll bet you we have 10,000 people standing outside.
What?
Right? I think we do. In fact, for a little while, we're driving through and the people are going crazy. I said,
Well,
is this
guys, this is the most pro-union president of all time, dude. He said, your fucking union sucks, and you're not going to get your demands.
No, but I said, is this a rally? We're driving to thousands and thousands of people. You
Fuck
just
your
put it
strike.
online.
Get back to work,
Incredible.
peasants.
The great Dan Scavino put it online. Where's Dan Scavino? The great Dan Scavino. He gets everything. He sees what's going on. Thank you, Dan. Where is he? One of the greats of all time, most powerful men in politics. He controls the internet. The great Dan Scavino. Get over here for the cameras, Dan. Get over here.
I'm putting a real union supporter hat on.
Stephen Chung has done incredible. Jason Miller, a legend. Jason, oh, somebody likes you over here, Jason. Now I have a great group of people. They all want to come. I said, you guys don't have to come. They said, no, we want to come.
I'm going to come.
And they don't want to come to keep me from falling either. They want to come for you see that? Now they have a new plan. How to keep this guy from standing up. We have to get him to stand up. How to keep him standing up and getting down a flight. You know, it's so unelegant. You know, I love those 747s, Air Force One. You know, I got new Air Force One. I saved $1.7 billion. They came to me. They said, sir, would you sign this? First day I was in office, I said, what is it? It's a new Air Force One. It's $5.7 billion. I said, that sounds like a lot of money for a plane. It's actually 2 planes, by the way, but they call it Air Force One. They're identical. I mean, even the wood grain, you can't tell the difference. I could tell because there was a little nick in one desk that wasn't on the other. So I could say, that's one, and the other one's two. No, it's incredible, actually. But, you know, those planes are like 32 years old, and nobody wanted to make the move and do it because they think, oh, it'll look luxury. In the meantime, they come in from Saudi Arabia and these other countries, brand new. They're like 3 months old, and they blow it away. And, you know, our country should have the latest and the greatest. So they wanted me to do it. It was $5.7 billion. I said, nope, it's too high. They said, why do you see that? Why are you saying that? Because Obama agreed to the deal. If they agreed to it, it's too high. So the head of Boeing came in and he said, sir, we have to get 5.7. I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I was supposed to sign it. I said, I'm not doing it, not for 5.7. It has to have a 3 on it. I didn't know what that meant, except I knew it was a hell of a cut, right? Right? Right, Al? So they said, sir, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We'll take off $400 million. That was pretty good. I said, you know, I've been doing this for about 3 minutes, and I got $400 million. Can you imagine the money these people make doing these plans? So I said, no deal. I said, no deal. And it's got to have a 3, got to have a 3. And I held out, and they called up 2 weeks later. I said, what do they want? And they were calling. They said, sir, we're going to take another $300 million. That's $700 million off. And I haven't done anything. Probably worked for about 2.5 minutes, and I got 700. And I just said no, and I sort of forgot about it.
Yeah, protect your retirement from DC politics is a really funny way to sell that. Partially because DC politics ruining your retirement package is the Republican side. But, you know, that's entirely separate. All right, I'm going to find the actual fucking debate, and we're going to move on because the debate is supposed to be starting in 4 minutes. And what else is supposed to start in 4 minutes is the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour if you no longer want to see those ads, if you want an uninterrupted experience. All you need to do is subscribe. $5 or free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account.